strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently. We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man will go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Now, listen, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A. Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And as per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay, and so let's get into it. Now, you can start by supporting the channel and the Queen's work by hitting that like button, okay? All right, so let's see who's in here. Lisa Jones, that Crazy Beach Aries. All right. AJ Matthews, Pearly, Juju B is in the house. Christy One Love, G from the Land. We the People, Claudette, Buckhorse DC. All right, Lillian X, Mr. Elevation, Run for Fun. Okay, Samantha. All right, let's get into it. Anita Harrell, Red Wine Entertainment. Rashid is here. All right. So shout out, hey, Curly Girl. Shout out to all of my loyal royals. I see you, Giggles. All right, and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators for putting in work. I see you, Shadow. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it, because we have a lot to talk about. Now, I had already planned to talk to you guys about the Mark of the Beast. As I told you earlier when I did a previous broadcast, I was going to be coming back with something important. But now these California fires have really gotten out of control. So I definitely want to cover that too. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Now I'm going to go to some live coverage where they're reporting on this. And this is all real crazy, right? This is all real crazy. Rashid said Queen Elon was online on Alex Stein. Oh, was he? Hey, Antoinette. Mr. Elevation said the nefariousness continues. Honey, you know it does. Okay, you know it does. Hey, TC Dan. TC Dan said, you already know I like what you're cooking, Queen. Stop playing. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so let's get into it. Now I'm going to go to the first report. First, I'm going to the report about these fires. Okay, we got to find out what's really going on here. You know, they had people out here in the streets. I'm not going to call any names, but I think it was Allie Carter. I am going to call names. I think it was Allie Carter that said Jay-Z and Beyonce set California on fire. Is that what she said? At least that's what it looks like somebody had in their headline for their video, honey. This is all crazy. Okay, so let's get into it. Lights up. Here we go.
Wildfires consume neighborhoods, upending tens of thousands of lives. Officials telling NBC News the death toll is climbing. At least 5 people are dead as flames rip through the Pasadena area right now. Homes and businesses consumed by fire in just a matter of minutes. People going about living their lives just 48 hours ago, now dealing with the unimaginable, losing everything. We'll speak with residents forced to quickly evacuate just to find out there's nothing left to return to. Right now, firefighters in the city's water system are being pushed to the brink. Hydrants are running dry or out completely, and Los Angeles County is being told to conserve water. How did the situation get so bad so fast? This video showing the dire conditions just north of Pasadena as homeowners with their garden hoses trying to fight those fires. Though the region is no stranger to wildfires, residents are reeling from what is now one of the most destructive wildfires in recent history.
This is unbelievable. Never thought it would happen to us.
And all you see is just raining hellfire.
But so many, neighborhood houses are burning. It's so upsetting. It's so heartbreaking.
It felt like I was catching on fire a little bit.
I do want to go back because I'm hopeful that I will find something in the rubble.
Frantic moments as elderly patients were evacuated from the Pasadena Park Healthcare and Wellness Center. Look at this. Hospital workers rushing people into buses, into ambulances, just as the flames began to close in. Our affiliate NBC Los Angeles also capturing this unbelievable moment. Take a listen.
Is this your house?
Yeah.
Which is your house?
Yeah, this is our house. Backyard's on fire. I'm out of here.
Oh my gosh. So what happened? Is there anything we can do to help you, sir?
You can take these paintings, I guess. I can't ride with these.
Listen, I'll take them for you.
And neighborhoods forever changed as several local landmarks perished in the fire. Look at these before and afters. This is Rosenthal wine tasting in Malibu, drawing in customers with their iconic big chairs.
Okay, this is so very sad and distressing to watch. These people are losing everything that they have, all the things that they've worked for. So very sad. But I want to thank Auntie Leah for gifting 5 memberships to the channel. Okay, thank you, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings to you for your kind gift. Everyone, please be sure to shout her out. Okay, and then with Mr. Elevation has also gifted 5 memberships to the channel. Thank you, beloved. I really appreciate both of you. Peace, love, and blessings, Mr. Elevation. And you all be sure to shout him out also. This is amazing. Thank you, guys. This is also sad. The poor man was trying to take his paintings with him. And like Dan said in the chat, you can replace the house, but you can't replace yourself. This is all true. But just think about, family heirlooms, pictures and things that that you have that you wanted to cherish forever. All of those things just gone. Things that had sentimental value. This is all so sad. End of the day, but let's continue.
And wine bottle along the Pacific Coast Highway. Now look at that, completely destroyed. The Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center was engulfed in flames. The synagogue was built more than 8 decades ago. And the popular community theater, Theater Palisades, which so many know, founded by a group of TV writers, was also caught in this fire. Here's where the situation stands at this hour. As we mentioned, at least 5 people have been killed, and we're told a number of others are suffering from burn injuries. More than 80,000 people are under evacuation orders. More than 1,000 structures destroyed. Many of those are homes, and the fires are burning out of control. Officials saying there is 0% containment, 0%. Right now, more than 1.5 million customers are without power. I want to show you where these fires are currently burning to give you a better idea, because Los Angeles is such a big idea. There are currently 4 fires right now. You see them highlighted in yellow right here. The Palisades fire just north of Santa Monica has left the Pacific Palisades and parts of Malibu unrecognizable. The Eaton fire near Altadena and Pasadena exploded to more than 10,000 acres. The Hearst fire, you see it as well right up here. and that fire has forced people to flee from their homes. In a moment, you'll hear from NBC's Jacob Soboroff, who goes back to his family home to find this. All of it completely gone. So many dealing with immense devastation. Right now, there is a press conference where we expect to hear some new information happening in Pasadena. We want to go there live. Let's listen in.
Who have lost their home and even their lives here in Pasadena, as well as in Altadena and the Palisades. On behalf of all residents of Pasadena and the leaders that you see behind me, we will certainly have all those individuals and their families and friends in our thoughts and prayers. We have experienced a tremendous tragedy here in our community. To date, we have over 100,000 people under mandatory evacuation. We've had 5 fatalities, and then we have close to another 100,000 people who have been warned to evacuate because they are in a danger zone. Hundreds of homes have been lost. I'll let the police chief and the fire chief talk about that. But this is an opportunity for us as a community, as a people, to band together and work to support one another. Whether you're affected or not, please take the opportunity to help a neighbor, help a friend, check in on friends and neighbors, and certainly check in on family members. Here with me today are Councilmember Jason Lyon, Councilmember Justin Jones, Councilmember Jessica Rivas, my colleagues on the Pasadena City Council. Also with us today is City Manager Miguel Marquez, our supervisor, LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger, Congress Member Judy Chu, State Senator Sasha Perez, Assembly Member John Harabedian, the Superintendent of the Pasadena Unified School District, Dr. Blanco, the President of Pasadena City College, Dr. Jose Perez, a representative from the Humane Society. Also with us today are neighboring Assembly members, Assemblymember Coloza, Assemblymember Nick Schultz. You'll also hear from Fire Chief Chad Augustine and Police Chief Gene Hill.
Okay, so let me pause for a moment so I can talk about what is the cause of all of this. But first, let me thank DSB for gifting 10 memberships to the channel. I see you also gifted one more. So thank you, beloved, for your contribution of 11 memberships to the channel. Okay, so peace, love, and blessings to you. All right, so now let's talk about it. Because, and you all be sure to shout out DSB, Auntie Leah, and Mr. Elevation for gifting these memberships. So let's just figure out what's going on here, because I'm pretty sure they're going to say that it has something to do with the climate. Okay, hold on. Trying to make sure my chat's still moving. Okay, so a perfect storm of weather and climate conditions led to the severity of the California fires. Multiple wildfires are currently raging through Southern California. Now they say at least 2 people are dead. Well, now they've upped that to 5. Let me see when this came out. This came out around 3:40 p.m. earlier today. So now I believe they said it's at least 5 people dead, but they said several others are injured in the Palisades, Eatonhurst, and Woodley fires that burned through thousands of acres and prompted sweeping evacuations around Los Angeles County. Now, the dry landscape in the region heavily contributed to fires for the ability for it to spread really, really quickly. Okay, only 0.16 inches of rain has fallen in the region since May the 6th. So they clearly have a drought going on. But without the low humidity and extreme winds, the dry landscape wouldn't present as big of a threat. Now, on Monday, the National Weather Service began warning of a life-threatening Santa Ana windstorm that could spark severe wildfires in Southern California, more than 24 hours in advance of the first wildfire. What made the Santa Ana wind event so severe is the upper level support lining up with the surface gradients Kurt Kaplan, a retired operational forecaster for the National Weather Service in Oxford, California, this is what he said to ABC News. Now, the upper low that moved over Baja California caused a strong colder air subsidence or sinking northeast over the region. Now, the sinking air associated with the colder, dense air aloft was able to descend, bringing damaging mountain waves across the Los Angeles and Ventura County mountains, then crashed into the foothills and some coastal communities. Now, as conditions higher up in the atmosphere shift later on Wednesday, the strong winds should taper off to moderate, typical Santa Ana winds late morning in the afternoon hours. Many of the cities like Burbank, Pasadena, and Beverly Hills, as well as the Pacific Palisades neighborhood, are not usually affected by typical Santa Ana northeast winds, according to Kaplan. 4 wildfires were burning in Southern California on Wednesday afternoon: the Palisades Fire, the Eaton Fire, Hearst Fire, and Woodley Fire. So on Monday evening, California Governor Gavin Newsom directed state departments to position fire engines, hand crews, aircraft, and additional support in areas that could be impacted. The region remained under a state of emergency on Wednesday as the fires continued. You know, this is really sad and very extreme, like I told you guys. This is really devastating for these people. Can you imagine? This is one of the reasons I could live in California. This is absolutely one of the reasons why.
Harris. So again, I just want to assure people that Pasadena is working in conjunction with our neighboring jurisdictions, including the County of Los Angeles, particularly the County of Los Angeles. Supervisor Barger and I had the opportunity to sit down with the governor of California this afternoon, not too long ago, maybe an hour ago, and the governor has assured us that he will provide whatever assistance that we may request. And so on behalf of Supervisor Barger and I'd like to thank the governor for coming, seeing for himself the devastation and committing the Guard and other resources to Pasadena. And so we will certainly be in touch. With that, let me, and I'll go over these points in Spanish at the end as well. Let me turn it over to City Manager Miguel Marquez.
Good afternoon. My name is Miguel Marquez. Excuse me, Miguel spelled M-I-G-U-E-L, Marquez, M-A-R-Q-U-E-Z. I am the city manager for the city of Pasadena. It's been a brutal 22 hours here in Pasadena. My heart aches for all who lost their homes, their memories, and their sense of security. About 22 hours ago, we first learned of a fire in Eaton Canyon. As they always do, and despite the dangers, our first responders rushed to the scene. They found darkness, they found fire, and they found 80-mile-per-hour winds. Air support was not possible under those conditions. Our first responders did all they could under those brutal conditions to put out the fire, putting their own lives at risk to save others. They battled through the night, with more and more joining the fight as the night wore on. Our police officers went door to door, ensuring as many residents as possible were evacuated to safety, including many seniors and those with mobility limitations. They saved many, many lives in the last 22 hours. Their efforts were heroic. Our first responders, our public works department who cleared the streets, Pasadena Water and Power who kept the power on and the water flowing throughout the night. Public servants from so many different agencies came together in the last 22.
I talk to my friends who I spend so much time with on these streets, and it's hard to imagine what comes next and what happens next.
Jacob Soboroff joins us tonight, and because of the conditions out there, you can see his signal is a little spotty, but his reporting never is. So, Jacob, my first question to you is, how are you doing tonight?
Thanks for asking, Tom. I think, the question really is, how are the 23,000 people who have lived and worked and played and worshiped? I mean, this is a Methodist church behind me that's on fire right now. How are they all doing? This is a special place, and I think it's really hard to see it go. And I don't think many of us, certainly people who are not in this line of work, we get to cover stuff like this all the time, but when it hits home, to wrap your head around what it means to lose your entire community is something that's very difficult. And I don't even live here anymore, but my brother does, my sister-in-law does, and a whole heck of a lot of amazing people do. And I think we should just hold all of those people in our thoughts and our prayers tonight, and the first responders, working on behalf of all of these people in the greater Los Angeles area under really, really intense circumstances that I don't think any of us ever expected.
Jacob, I've covered stories that have affected people that I loved and communities where I've lived. And every reporter is a little different, right? But most of us sort of go into these situations with a shield, if you will, right? We sort of shield ourselves to make sure we can get the story back to our viewers and to our readers. And I'm sure you had that shield around you, but you never lose that human touch. What was the moment for you or the image maybe that maybe broke that shield for a little bit today?
I just figured, Tom, that to walk up to and drive by in the course of covering this for my news organization that I love dearly, the house that I grew up in until I was about 10 years old, and look at it burned to the ground. I don't think there's any other way to approach that than to be honest about how it makes someone feel. And it's not even my house anymore. There's another family that lives there who really, truly suffered a devastating loss today. But I just figured sharing the experience that I had might allow our viewers to have a little bit of insight in what it's like for the folks that are here who are not allowed back home right now because they don't have these yellow vests. And
I got in a room next door, I had my wife and 3 daughters, and all the memories gone, the awards, the pictures, the memorabilia I had, sports memorabilia, ski trips, and going to the ranch. All those memories are gone, and we held out hope for our own personal house, but we started to see the way this day was going to go, because we're on a text chain with about 11 other families that our kids play soccer and volleyball with, and those 11 other families all lost their houses. And that's how devastating this is, the Palisades. I'm going to be real frank with you, Tom. There's nothing left in the Palisades. Nothing. I moved here in 2009, and I run a business in the Palisades. My kids go to 3 different schools in the Palisades. And then, as you alluded in your opening, I lost my house. And so what a day, what a couple of days.
Greg, I'm so sorry for you, man.
I want to thank you guys for calling me up and allowing me to tell my version of the story. And I'm telling my version, which is 1,000 people's version of the story. So,
Greg, we have about 30 seconds here. What do you want? What's the one thing you want the country to know tonight?
I want you to know that the Pacific Palisades is a very special place, and we will rebuild. There are superheroes who don't wear capes, who walk around these streets, and it's a special place, and I look forward to getting to work on this now that I know what the score is. And I feel for every family. Luckily, there was no deaths, maybe a few injuries. And so, I just want to send everybody some good juju today, and I'll keep every family in my prayers.
Greg Champion, we are going to be thinking about you and praying for your family.
Over the years. So this shouldn't have come by any surprise that this thing could have really gotten out of control.
Rick Caruso, we appreciate you joining us tonight, and we're really sorry. I know you've experienced loss out here. Your family has experienced loss. But what is your number one question when it comes to that water pressure that could have done? Canyon is up here. Wow. Wow. That is a Pacific Palisades Presbyterian Church, or what is left of it. Those are the remnants of a beautiful church that used to be up on the hill there. And you see those concrete pillars and those beams skyward, but that's about all you see. And then as we come down here, we're headed towards Temescal Gateway Park, the Mountain Recreation Center. You can see where the fire ripped through. Over here at the school, you've got active fire burning. You've got firefighters down below. They are trying to do structural protection, but it looks like that fire is still. Let me just pull over here. You can see that fire over there. It is in the building proper. It looks like it's already burned the gymnasium. And to be honest, I see 2 tankers, maybe 3 tankers down there, 3 engines. It's just resources are strapped so thin around here. This is Temescal Canyon. And now we're heading up again to show you the devastation that is difficult to take in. You've got these apartment complexes that have burned. This is a Gelson's up here. If you live in the Palisades, you know this Gelson's. If I'm not mistaken, that side of Gelson's is undamaged, but it looks like it's a total loss. That is just a shell of a building. The fire has ripped through there. And this.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. That is horrific. Okay. I mean, it looks like literally hell on earth. Okay. Shout out to Auntie Leah for contributing 10 more memberships to the channel. Okay. Thank you for your kind contribution, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings to you. All right. I really appreciate you guys. This is just all real crazy. Now, DSB says, where is Israel? They get all the money. I think Ukraine probably gets more, beloved. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is all catastrophic. Now, this has happened a myriad of times, but this is supposedly the worst one in history is what they're saying. Thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. I mean, all of these people just losing everything they have like that, being displaced. And then you have some people, you know, they have literally nothing left. And I just wonder how much homeowners insurance is in the California area. Does anyone here live in California, or have you lived there previously and know how much they charge for homeowners insurance? Because I would think that it's extremely high because of these events. Okay. Jandrea says, Queen, was that the fire or was that lava? I know, right? And thank you for being a member for 4 months, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. That was fire. It looked like lava, like a volcano erupted. That's what I'm saying. This looks like hell on earth. What is really going on? This is all awful. I hope these people have somewhere to go, have family members, you know, and my prayers and condolences for the people that lost their lives, prayers for speedy recovery for those that are injured, and prayers for those who have lost things in those fires. It's really awful. Because just think about everyday regular people don't have money to just pop up and rebuild like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't have money just to rebuild like that. And then if I did rebuild, I sure wouldn't want to rebuild there, because it just seems like this is a common occurrence there. Reggie says, I do, but I don't own a home. Okay, so let's move on, because let's talk about the nefariousness of it all, because I'm here to tell y'all, I think Elon Musk is the Antichrist. Anyone agree? Now, don't y'all go and tell him I said it, because I don't want him kicking me off of X. Okay, how many of you in here, once in the chat, think that Elon Musk is nefarious? Once, if you think that Elon Musk is nefarious. Okay, because something's not right about him. Something is definitely not right. Okay, and I'm sorry, but in my opinion, this cryptocurrency and stuff, like I told you all, I've been telling you all this for years. I think I told you all this back in 2020, that digital currency was a way for them to usher in the mark of the beast and to have plenty of control over everything that we do and all the things that we buy and purchase, and then to prevent us from doing things that they don't want us to do. Because as I've told you before, just think about it. When everything's digital and we no longer are living in a when it becomes officially a cashless society, well, if you tick them off, they can just press a button and shut you down. I mean, we already see they did it to Kanye, and we aren't even in a cashless society as of yet. They did it to Wendy Williams. Okay, I have several questions about some scary things that are going on. Did you guys know that Kroger is implementing this thing where it goes by facial recognition as to how the pricing is conducted? So let's talk about that first, because there's a whole lot of nefarious things going on. And see, like I told you guys, it's fine to sit here and talk about celebrity gossip with the Jay-Z and Diddy stuff, but those are rich people problems that they're having, honey. Okay, and those are problems that they brought upon themselves. But us regular folk, we need to be worried about what's going on right now and what we're going to have to prepare ourselves for, because quite frankly, this is spiritual warfare. Okay, I keep telling you guys, this is spiritual warfare, which is exactly the reason that I feel I need to bring my spiritual and esoteric teachings to this channel, which I plan to do. Okay, so let's talk about it, because this is all real crazy. Because I was today years old when I found this out. Okay, my friend called me and told me about this. Kroger's facial recognition plans draw increasing concern from lawmakers. So Kroger plans to roll out facial recognition tools at its grocery stores, and this is attracting increased criticism from lawmakers who warn that it could be exploited to increase the prices that certain individuals pay for food and put customers' personal data at risk. Now, I want y'all to think about that part where they say increase the prices that certain individuals pay for food. Now, you may remember that a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3, I told you guys that as far as I'm concerned, them removing all of these Walmarts out of the areas where people who look like me live, and they're saying that it's due to theft and all of this. And then I showed you the footage where they said that these Walmarts in Atlanta said they caught on fire, and they said that people set them on fire so they could steal. Okay, well, you know, that sounds plausible, but here's the problem with that. When I showed you all the footage, there were 2 black men. One of them was wearing an orange vest, and they said they believed that he was one of the people that did it. And there was another man. Now, what I thought was interesting about that, they said these men supposedly set it on fire so they could steal. Well, one of them, all he had in his shopping cart was a suitcase. And then the other, the only thing he had in his shopping cart was like 2 of the 6-packs of bottled water. Now, why is that important, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Because if someone is going to the extent of setting a Walmart on fire so they could steal, one would think that they would be trying to steal things that are more expensive, like electronics, old computers and things like that, TVs, things that they could sell and make money off of. Not walking out of there after you've set a whole fire, as they claim that he did, and then you're walking out there with bottled water, 2 cases of it, not even cases, 2 of the 6-packs. And the other man, like I said, he had a cheap looking suitcase. So I think that was all cap. And I told you all back then that I feel like they're trying to create a food desert. Okay? And I even more so think so now that this whole thing with Kroger is coming out. I mean, what do they mean? Increase the pricing for certain individuals and what they pay for food. In a letter Friday to Kroger CEO Rodney McMullen, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib said the plans, which involve using facial recognition tools and digital displays to target advertising to customers and collect information on them, potentially could pave the way for biased pricing discrimination. I want you all to think about this, because I've told you all a myriad of times also that facial recognition is absolutely discriminatory. Okay, specifically when it comes to melanated people, heavily melanated people like myself, and brown people. Now, studies have shown that facial recognition technology is flawed and can lead to discrimination in predominantly Black and brown neighborhoods. See, that's what I'm telling you. I've told you this all before. Hold on, you guys. I'm going to call you right back, beloved, because I'm actually... Okay, sorry about that. I thought my phone was on Do Not Disturb. Hold on. Let me put it on there so I don't have any more interruptions. Okay, so anyway, now with that all being said, it is discriminatory, as I told you all years ago. Okay, and so it goes on to say that basically this congresswoman was saying the same thing, that it's discriminatory in predominantly Black and brown neighborhoods. Okay, and this is what she said in a letter that she wrote, and it was also posted to social media, saying the racial biases of facial recognition technology are well documented and should not be extended into our grocery stores. Like, why do they need that in the grocery stores? Everything is getting to be too much. Like, we don't have any privacy. What about our rights? They're slowly but surely taking away our rights one at a time. Are you all paying attention to this? Are y'all hearing this? Now, Kroger is the largest grocery store chain in the country with nearly 3,000 stores and $3.1 billion in profits in 2023. Kroger and other retailers already use electronic shelving labels instead of paper labels to rapidly adjust prices based on a variety of factors, including time of purchase, where a grocery store is located, and other data. Now, the plan to use facial recognition technology could allow the retailer to build individual profiles on customers based on data like their gender and shopping habits. See, I don't need them all up in my business, okay? That's what I don't need. Now, in an August letter sent to McMullen about the same plans, Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bob Casey said they were concerned about the chain building personalized profiles of each customer, and then use those profiles to determine how much price hiking each of us could tolerate. Are y'all hearing this? Quickly updating and displaying the customer's maximum willingness to pay on the digital price tag. Now, the use of facial recognition tools in Kroger stores also raises concerns about how Kroger intends to adequately safeguard customer data. A Kroger spokesperson said in a statement that the company's business model is built on a foundation of lowering prices to attract more customers. Yes, sure. Saying, to be clear, Kroger does not and has never engaged in surge pricing. I beg to differ. I remember not too long ago, eggs were almost $100. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but you all know eggs were too darn high. Please make it all make sense. And there has been a significant increase in many of the things there. Okay, I mean, this trail mix that I love to purchase was about $6 and some change like last year. Now it's almost $9 for trail mix. And it's not even a huge bag, okay? Please pay attention. Now, any test of electronic shelf tags is designed to lower prices for more customers where it matters most. Now, in her letter, Talib said, I'm probably saying this lady's name wrong. It looks like T-L-A-I-B. I'm just gonna call her Talib, okay? Talib, whatever. Also cited the potential for Kroger to use this system to charge customers in areas where there are few grocery stores, please pay attention, more money at a time when grocery prices are spiking. Now, I want you all to think about that. Think about if you live in a rural area and there's not a lot of stores, and you basically have just a few to go to, okay? And Kroger, to me, is already high. I'm sorry, it's already high as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Trisha said, you paid how much for eggs? $5.66 for a dozen eggs, okay? Yeah, everybody's saying food deserts. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. This all sounds crazy. $1 for a 25-cent bag of chips. Exactly. Okay? So, Chosen One said, I use Great Value anyways if need be. I don't trust Greater Value. I don't trust them. That's the brand at Walmart, right? Yeah, I don't trust them. For various reasons. Things that happened in the past that I've seen. But with that all being said, this is all just crazy. Now, it goes on to say that Kroger's use of facial recognition technology and surge pricing is concerning when we're hearing growing complaints about the rising cost of groceries at big retailers. We've found big retailers with little regional competition can extract large profits simply by adjusting prices of essential goods like food items. Now, the Federal Trade Commission is suing to block Kroger from acquiring rival grocery chain Albertsons in a $24.6 billion proposed deal it announced in 2022, arguing that the proposed deal is anti-competitive. Now, Talib said that McMullen asked McMullen to respond to several questions, okay, including whether targeted price adjustments will be offered only to certain customers and whether customers will have the option to opt out of being surveilled and discriminated against. Now they have a correction that they added in here in an update. They say a previous version of this story said that Microsoft was involved in Kroger's facial recognition plans based on a lawmaker's statements. But a spokesperson for Microsoft said Kroger is not using the company's facial recognition technology. Well, I really don't care whose technology they're using. This sounds nefarious to me. What do you all think? Do you all want them monitoring your purchases, what you're buying on a regular basis, and then storing your data? At the end of the day, that's the reason I don't like using the Kroger Plus cards. You know they can track you by those Kroger Plus cards, apparently, because I recall years ago watching one of those Midnight Decipher said this sounds like extortion. It sounds like it's giving them the free range to price gouge, to tell you that much, and dictate how much they want to charge certain people by demographics. Because just think about it. If they're in this area where people like me live, okay, let's just say if they're in an area where there's a bunch of people that look like me, they can charge them one price and then be over here in another area where people don't look like me and be charging them another. Okay, please pay attention. Israelite Polite said, exactly, Queen. Okay, this is all nefarious as far as I'm concerned. Honey, they are doing the absolute most. And I want you all to pay attention because none of this is coincidental. It's all by design. But hold up, there's more, because JP Morgan, because, you know, once I found out this about Kroger, I said, let me do some more research and see what else is going on and who else is doing things. Well, JP Morgan joins the biometric palm and face ID race. Okay, so now let's talk about it. This came out in November of 2024. That article that I just read to you about Kroger came out in October of 2024. So just a few months ago. Now, fraud always seeks the path of least resistance. In the world of payments, hackers look for vulnerable spots to exploit. The rise of artificial intelligence introduces yet another layer that criminals can manipulate and enhance their methods. In a recent Payments Journal webinar, Juan Funes, Director of Fraud and Decisioning Products at MasterCard, and James Webster, co-head of payments at Javelin Strategy and Research, discussed the best practices organizations can use to maintain effective fraud mitigation strategies and stay ahead of evolving threats. Now, with the proliferation of digital payment methods, both opportunities for convenience and avenues for fraud have exploded. Taking into consideration the diverse ways you could use a single card in a day. They say living in New York, I could use the stored card in my digital wallet to tap and get away or to get on the subway. I can order lunch using a delivery app with my card on file. Later in the day, I could use the same card to buy sneakers from a new online merchant by manually entering the card details. In the evening, I might go to a restaurant for dinner and pay using my physical card. Such varied transaction scenarios create multiple points of vulnerability. I'm one of those people who loves payments, so I have wacky things like a payment ring that I wear when I'm going for a run so I can buy water because I don't want to carry a wallet. I have all of these things that I pay attention to. Most people don't, and yet they will still use all of these new modes of payment. It's just unconscious. So most people don't even think about the fact that they use information that's stored in their phone. Now, as the world becomes more digital and interconnected, the threats multiply. Organizations must brace for attacks from diverse and distributed criminal networks. Advanced technologies enable fraudsters to refine their strategies continuously. At anti-fraud conferences, I've seen examples of fraudsters promoting their services via social media, bragging about the success of their exploits via encrypted messaging apps. It's the commercialization of fraud. AI isn't just for automating legitimate tasks, it is also accelerating the evolution of fraud. It enables criminals to streamline costly manual processes and rapidly process data for maximum advantage. The fraudsters are very smart. They go through the same processes that we do when elevating a business case. They're asking, what are my costs? What are my benefits? Now, the imperative of communication and shared vigilance. They say effective fraud prevention doesn't exist in a vacuum. It necessitates robust industry-wide communication and vigilance. My team is consistently communicating across functions to understand what's trending in their space. It's not just about looking at metrics, but understanding the intelligence behind them. We set trends shifting from location to location and region to region. This collective understanding allows organizations to tailor their defenses more precisely. If a particular fraud pattern is successfully thwarted in one region, the insights gained can be leveraged globally. So fraud prevention is fundamentally about balancing risk control with customer or consumer convenience. Persistently advancing technology presents a dual-edged sword. Okay, while it offers robust new defenses, over reliance, it can inadvertently create user friction. Therefore, it's crucial to strike the right balance. If fraud prevention protocols significantly impact cardholders, they may switch to other products. Finding the right balance is essential for each organization and the industry as a whole, he said. So looking ahead, given the global scale and complex fraud patterns that are difficult to detect in isolation, organizations must stay agile and informed as we forge ahead in this rapidly changing landscape. A comprehensive set of rules combined with the latest technologies and industry collaboration will be essential in combating fraud on a global scale. MasterCard, a leader in the industry, has been at the forefront of innovation, leveraging AI for over 2 decades. As the landscape continues to grow and evolve, the company remains committed to safeguarding the entire digital ecosystem through its AI fraud solutions. With global perspectives and the ability to adapt learnings from one region to another, we can mitigate these threats more effectively. Efficiency, balance, and robust rule sets are the future of fraud prevention. Okay, I know there's a lot of fraud going on at the end of the day, but things can still get hacked as far as I'm concerned. Keeping up with fraud attacks in the age of AI. That's basically what that was about. I thought I was reading about JP Morgan. I'm sorry. Clearly I pulled up the wrong thing. But JP Morgan is supposed to be using biometrics. Hold on, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. And while I'm doing so, let me have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes for your hair at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Now, Junior Matthews says AI is demonic. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Okay. Now, that article that I read you all was about AI preventing fraud. Okay. And like I said, I put the wrong label on it, so I was reading you the wrong thing. Now we're going to talk about this chase with the biometrics. JP Morgan will pilot biometrics-based payments with select retailers in the U.S., including palm and face identification for payment authentication in the store or in store. In addition to working with a few brick and mortar stores, JP Morgan may also be working with Formula1Crypto.com, Miami Grand Prix during the pilot stage to provide guests a faster checkout experience. After a short customer enrollment process in store, and once product items are scanned at checkout, a consumer scans their palm or face, are y'all listening, palm or face, to complete checkout and then receives a receipt. Now, what does that sound like? Scanning your palm or your face? I'm sorry, I have several questions. And then you get a receipt. JP Morgan's biometrics-based payment efforts fit into the broader industry trends towards frictionless, contactless payments that offer speed and convenience to consumers. Now, they want us to think this is also convenient. And, for some people it is. But at the end of the day, I'm not getting anything implanted in me so I can be out here, not carrying a wallet, or so I can just make things more convenient. That sounds crazy as far as I'm concerned. Now, other major players in the payments industry, such as Amazon, have been investing heavily in similar technologies to enable seamless checkout experiences. Amazon Go, for example, is a concept store that allows customers to enter and exit the store without the need to queue up and pay at a cash register. Instead, shoppers use the Amazon One app to do a palm scan, then shop as usual and walk out of the store. The app detects the items taken by the customer, charges the appropriate amount to their Amazon account, and sends them a receipt. No, thank you. I'm good on that. Amazon is looking to sell its biometric payment solutions as a product. The e-commerce giant is working with Panera Bread to offer consumers a way to both pay for items as well as access the chain's loyalty program via Amazon One. JP Morgan will likely work towards a similar strategy, licensing its biometric tech to stores for a fee. Biometric payments will likely get off to a slow start in the U.S., even as JP Morgan and Amazon expand the industry's reach. Now, this is what Daniel Keyes, who's a senior analyst of merchant services at Javelin Strategy and Research, says. He says that's because consumers will have concerns about the privacy of biometric payments and a disinterest in dealing with the initial friction of setting up an account. Listen, all this stuff can be hacked, okay? All this stuff can be hacked, and people can have absolutely all of your data, all of your information, okay? I don't trust any of it, and for one, I definitely wouldn't want anything, like I said, implanted in me. That all sounds crazy as hell. Now, on top of that, consumers are slow to change their payment habits, even if the new payment method is faster. Now, as was previously seen in the U.S., when consumers were slow to adopt contactless payments prior to the pandemic, he says people were slow to get used to it. Like, people were reluctant. But as biometric payments gain widespread acceptance and become familiar to consumers, they should carve out a place at checkout, just as contactless payments have. Okay, so yeah, I don't agree with any of this. And you know what, though? Here's the thing. They're able to do these things, to implant this AI technology and all this nefarious stuff, as far as I'm concerned. They're able to do this because people are accepting it. Okay? People are accepting it because some people think it's absolutely convenient. Okay? Jeff ATL said, I'm good paying with Apple Pay. Ross said, I keep cash on me. My friends don't, though. See, I don't carry cash. I will admit I don't carry cash ever. Giggle said, none of these establishments will ever get my fingerprint. Okay. CC Dan said, we already have that with our phones. Pretty much. Rashid says, your phone listens, your smart TVs listen. Alexa and Siri does. They pay attention while you sleep. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. And speaking of while you sleep, please don't sleep with your cell phone in the same room as you. Okay. Just because of radiation and other things. All right. Pauline said, we're all doomed, Queen. I used both. Speak for yourself, beloved, because I'm not doomed, honey. I'm not going for any of these shenanigans, okay? They can miss me with it. They can miss me with it. At the end of the day, it all sounds real nefarious, okay? But hold on. If you really want to know what's even more nefarious, have you all researched Neuralink? What do you all think about that? Elon Musk, I'm sorry, I just think he's the devil. I think he's hand in hand with Satan. They're best friends, best buds, best bros, might even be his father, which is really what I think. Now, at the end of the day, after hearing that nefarious story that his nanny told, and I believed every word, I don't think she had any reason to make it all up. And Elon has done some sketchy things in the past that lead me to think that he's absolutely nefarious. One of them was taking this robot, AI robot, right, on a date. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember? And then there's this dressed up in Baphomet suit with an upside down cross. Y'all don't think that's crazy? What the hell's going on here? Okay, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hold on, let me look up his robot girlfriend real quick. This is what I find interesting. See, I was already thinking that Elon was sketchy and likely, could be the Antichrist, but I remember it coming to me years ago. I remember it coming to me years ago that the person who would be the Antichrist would be involved in politics. And Elon was not. Oh, but now he is. Now he's heavily involved in it, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, now he's heavily involved in it. Look at that. What's he doing with the whole robot girlfriend? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think he's even really human. I don't think that he's even really human. I don't think Elon is like us. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But let's talk about Neuralink, because I find this all interesting. Now, here's the first person to receive Elon's brain chip. This is the first person to receive it, okay? So let's talk about that, because this is definitely, if this ain't the mark of the beast, honey, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely nefarious. Neuralink's first user is constantly multitasking with his brain implants. Nolan Arbaugh is the first to get Elon Musk's brain device. The 30-year-old speaks to Wired about what it's like to use a computer with his mind and to gain a new sense of independence. Now, clearly they picked this man because he's in a wheelchair, and more likely than not, thought that he would be a prime candidate because, hey, thinking maybe he wouldn't say no. So I'm going to play the audio. I'm going to share my screen so you all can hear the audio so I don't have to read this.
User is constantly multitasking with his brain implant. By Emily Mullen. This is an AI-generated narration. Inconsistencies in pronunciation and tone may occur. In 2016, Nolan Arbaugh suffered a spinal cord injury while swimming in a lake. The details are fuzzy, but what he remembers is rushing toward the water with his friends, diving in and hitting his head on something, or someone. He floated to the surface, unable to move. Doctors later confirmed that he was paralyzed from the neck down. Arbaugh went from being a self-sufficient college student to moving back in with his parents and relying on them for his daily needs. He learned how to get around in a wheelchair and use a mouth-held stick to operate an iPad. But the hardest adjustment was feeling like he was a burden on his family. The year 2016 was also when Elon Musk co-founded the brain implant startup Neuralink. This January, Arbaugh became the first person to receive the company's investigational device, dubbed telepathy, as part of a clinical trial. Known as a brain-computer interface, or BCI, it decodes intended movement signals in the brain and translates them into computer commands. Arbaugh just has to think about moving a cursor on his laptop screen and it moves. The experimental device has given Arbaugh, now 30, a sense of independence. Before using a mouth stick, required someone to position him upright. If he dropped his mouth stick, it needed to be picked up for him, and he couldn't use it for long or he'd develop sores. With the Neuralink device, he has nearly full control of a computer. He can browse the web and play computer games whenever he wants, and Neuralink says he has set the human record for cursor control with a BCI. Arbaugh isn't the first person to get a BCI. One recipient, Nathan Copeland, has had one for 9 years. Beyond Neuralink, several other companies are working to commercialize BCIs to help people with paralysis, mental health disorders, and even blindness. Arbaugh recently spoke with Wired via Zoom to talk about his experience in the Neuralink study. This interview has been edited for length and clarity. Emily Mullen, before you got the implant, what was your day-to-day life like? Nolan Arbaugh. I was lying in bed most days, all day. I didn't get up a whole lot unless I had something to do. I got up to take showers every other day. I got up when people would come to my house to see me. But outside of that, I was just in bed. Right before my initiation into Neuralink, I was trying to learn a lot more. I was trying to get my life back on track because I had kind of done nothing for 5 years after my accident. So I started learning languages and stuff. The 2 years before the Neuralink trial, I was actively trying to better myself. You've said you found out about the Neuralink trial from a friend. Had you heard of brain-computer interfaces before then? No, never. Musk is a very showy person, and Neuralink has live-streamed some flashy updates over the years. What was your initial impression of the company? I was blown away at what they were trying to do. You know, Elon Musk, he has had such an impact on the world, whether people think that's good or bad. It was really cool knowing that he was a part of something like this. I really feel like we're kindred spirits with our mentality of wanting to better humanity. It was very cool to see the richest man in the world, possibly one of the most powerful men in the world, taking an interest. You just don't see this kind of funding go into things for handicapped people. You had to go through a pretty extensive screening process to find out if you were eligible for the Neuralink trial. What was that like? It took about a month. I applied, and within a day, I'd gotten an email back that said I'd been selected, and they wanted me to go through the first interview. I did a bunch of Zoom interviews. I had to do a lot of medical screenings. They asked about my medical history and family history, and I had to do a psych screening. At the very end, about a month in, I went to the hospital they had selected. I did a full day of screening, which was 8 hours of tests, including brain scans, different head scans, blood tests, and urine tests. I did another psychoanalysis and then memory tests to see if I was all there cognitively, and also just to get a baseline, so if anything changes, they would be able to know where I was when I began. That was a long day. After that, it was just a waiting game. When they told you that you had been selected for the trial and were going to get the Neuralink implant, how did you feel? The whole time I tried to keep my expectations really level. They told me throughout this whole process that at any point, if I don't meet one of their criteria, they'll move on in a different direction. I tried to push down any expectation I had just because I didn't want to get my hopes up and be let down.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward this, guys.
It was hard to not get excited. It threw off a lot of their calculations for how things should be going. How long did it take to recalibrate and get back to the cursor speed you were at before? It took maybe 2 weeks. I remember the day that it happened. I was playing on it, and things just got better. It was just one little tweak that they had made on the software side. And from that point on, things kept getting better and better. Are you worried at all that more threads could pull out and the implant could stop working altogether? Yeah, I've had fears about that. I've mentioned it to them. They have been very upfront with me and said that they don't see any evidence of that. It seems like the threads have stabilized, and even some that were pulled out of my brain had found their way back in. I'm not worried about it now. How has your life changed since getting the implant? It's just made me more independent, and that helps not only me, but everyone around me. It makes me feel less helpless and like less of a burden.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I have heard enough, okay? I have heard enough. Now, he wants his independence, and I get it. He's in a wheelchair. He doesn't want to be a burden to his family and all of that. But at the end of the day, I think this is all nefarious. And now, mind you, I had fast forwarded. So what he was talking about when he said something about the wires coming out, so some of the wires retracted from his brain where it was implanted. But then he says that they mysteriously found their way back in. Says that they found their way back into his brain. Now, that sounds crazy to me. That sounds real crazy to me, but hold on. Let's go to some footage. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to share the screen. And I'm going to go to this video where they talk about the Obamacare, okay? And they show these people at this kiosk scanning their hands.
Okay, we're at Walmart and we're looking at the new Solo Health station. What's really unique about it is look at the scanner.
Show them that it's at your knee. Hold on. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that had music in it. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to tell you what it was. Basically, they were talking about Obamacare, right? And they were saying that Obama first tried to introduce this thing that they're calling the mark of the beast. When they were at this kiosk, the people had something in their hand, they had to scan it or whatever. They said Obama tried it, but basically because a lot of people were throwing out conspiracy theories and people were reluctant to it, so it didn't work. Okay, so now they think that it's going to come through another way. And, you know, that's probably through Elon Musk. Okay, but here's something I want you all to pay attention to. There's this guy that's promoting cryptocurrency, and he did this video, right? And he's talking about it and everything. But something he said, and I wasn't going to show this video because, you know, I feel like he's pushing a narrative, but it's something that he said that I thought was interesting.
I don't think people realize what is coming after January 20th, 2025. What I'm about to break down with you is the facts, figures, numbers, and logic based on my own research. You should always make your own decisions. This is just my opinion. Everything I share with you is things I'm doing personally. But what I want you to understand is how dramatically your financial system is going to change after January 20th, 2025 to 2030. We went from cryptocurrency as a fraud used for money laundering, a pet rock, and I'm going to break down the Avengers coming in, to JP Morgan building their own blockchain technology, which is cryptocurrency, guys. Used to be called Onyx, I think, and now it's rebranded to Kinetics. You have BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world that has a #1 Bitcoin ETF. And he says we must rethink retirement, Larry Fink. People still thought it was a fraud. People still thought it was not going to be here. And then Trump won by a landslide in the presidential election. Not because everybody liked him, because everybody was fed up and won the area of authenticity, currency. Authenticity is the new currency. And after January 20th, 2025, you're now going to have a crypto czar. Well, if crypto's a fraud and it's not going to be here, then why would Trump bring in a crypto czar? Like, we have to get rid of that mindset. So David Sachs, former PayPal executive, is the new crypto czar for the White House. We have Paul Akins, crypto-friendly, extremely crypto-friendly and Bitcoin-friendly, taking over the SEC. So the SEC, when we have a crypto czar, it gets better. Hang on. Elon Musk is taking over the Department of Government Efficiency. Elon is heavy in Bitcoin through Tesla. Heavy. Well, I can continue on. JD Vance, the vice president, holds a 500,000, based on reports, do your own research, around 500,000 in cryptocurrency. And lastly, I'm going to show you a video from RFK that'll make you bullish as hell. This is all after January 20th, 2025. Who knows what this is going to do to crypto? Now, before I play this, it's important to understand he said he has most of his wealth in Bitcoin. He's in the White House now.
I think there's 60 million Bitcoiners in our country, and they're very energetic. And they've been able to talk to their legislature. So now a majority of people in Congress and the Senate want to see Bitcoin transactional. They want to see it non-taxable. They want to encourage it. They want to end the war. And the Biden administration, either knowingly or through inertia, has been locked in a war with Bitcoin. If we want to continue with having the world's global reserve currency, the world's global preferred trade currency, the world's safe haven currency, we need to move quickly to integrate Bitcoin into our reserves.
This is not our grandparents' economy. This is not our parents' economy. We have more debt than we have income in America. The average person has to make $150,000 a year just to be middle class. And when you get paid in someone else's debt. Do you see why BlackRock went all in on Bitcoin? Do you see why MicroStrategy is all on Bitcoin? Do you see why Tesla's all in on Bitcoin? Do you see why Michael Saylor met with Microsoft around a strategy around Bitcoin? And you're going to see more and more companies pulling Bitcoin underneath their treasury, because I truly believe Bitcoin was created, and they probably know who created it, right when we went into the fourth turning in 2009, because they knew this moment was coming. If you pull Bitcoin underneath the treasury, the bill is already created. Cynthia Loomis created the Bitcoin treasury bill. If you pull it underneath the treasury, you will shrink the balance sheet in half by 2045, getting America back in the green. And Trump said he's going to make America the crypto capital of the world. It is the greatest time in human history to study this stuff. Be very careful. There is no get rich quick. Put on a long-term horizon. Don't ask what to invest in, understand why you're investing in it. And once you create a plan, stick with it. Be like an oak tree. Don't get fudded in, don't get fudded out. Stick to your plan, be disciplined, and when you're in profits, pull some profits and diversify. I hope this information helps. After January 20th, 2025, you're gonna see people flooding into this asset class. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Love you. Big warning, I will never proactively DM you. Those are all scammers. I do not invest people's crypto. I'll never ask about your crypto. We do not.
Okay, I want you all to pay attention to something that he said that I thought was interesting. That's what caught my attention. I wasn't really concerned because he's sitting there like he's promoting crypto and all of that or whatever. But when he said, be like an oak tree, well, that caught my attention. Now, why did that catch your attention, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur? Well, I'm going to tell you why that caught my attention when he said, be like an oak tree. Because if you look at Elon Musk's name, the etymology of Elon, well, in Hebrew, it means oak tree. So I just kind of thought that was interesting that he said, be like an oak tree. Because what in the hell does an oak tree have to do with it? Okay, what does an oak tree have to do with it? And Elon's name literally means oak tree. Yeah, derived from the Hebrew word for oak tree. Elon holds a deep significance in the Hebrew culture. But I'll tell you something else that I thought was interesting. Because please pay attention to how the Antichrist is the opposite of the real one. Right? And thank you, C-Stand Beloved, for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. And blessings right back to you. Now, here's the thing. Remember, Buckhorst DC said the oak tree is God. Let me tell you all something. Now, we know that the Antichrist, as I said, is the opposite of the real Christ, right? So think about Elon's name, and then think about this name, Elyon. Okay, Elyon. E-L-Y-O-N. Very similar to Elon, except for this one, this name, Elyon, or as some say, El Elyon, it means to ascend. Okay, it's a God, the Most High God, in fact. Okay, so with that all being said, Elon is exactly the opposite of that as far as I'm concerned. But something else I thought was interesting. Why in the hell does Trump have a replica of the Ark of the Covenant, okay, at Mar-a-Lago? What's he doing with it? And is this a replica or is this the real one? Because, you know, I did some research and pretty much you can't really tell where the real one is. Now, it's supposed to be in Ethiopia. Hold on. It was supposed to be in Ethiopia. And then they said it was over in Israel. Where is the lost Ark of the Covenant? Yeah, here's what they say. Now, if you all don't know about the Ark of the Covenant, I'll just give you a little background on it briefly. So, the Ark of the Covenant, also referred to as the Ark of the Testimony or the Ark of God, is first mentioned in the Bible in the book of Exodus. The word ark is a Hebrew word that simply means box or chest. The ark was built by Moses upon instruction by God during the 40-day stay on Mount Sinai. After it was built, it could not be touched by human hands and could be carried only using wooden poles by the Levites. Now, the book of Exodus contains a detailed description of the ark's size, which is and what it looked like, including the two cherubim mounted on the lid with their wings spread and facing each other, and what it was made of. Okay, acacia wood overlaid with gold. The inside of the ark contained the original stone tablets from the 10 Commandments, the tablets of the law, okay, which were given by God to Moses on Mount Sinai. Later in the New Testament, the ark is described to have also contained the staff of Aaron and a jar of manna. And if you remember, manna is what they ate when they were starving in the wilderness, the Hebrew Israelites. God sent down the manna from heaven. Okay, so now with that all being said, where is the ark today is the question. After the destruction of the first temple by the Babylonians around 587 BC, the ark disappeared, and some believe that it may have been carried off to Ethiopia, Aksum, where it resides today in an off-limits location. Others have speculated, some more wildly than others, that it's hidden somewhere in Israel. Param or Jaharya. Okay, and with that all being said, in another theory, the Jewish historian Josephus wrote a tradition among Samaritans that states the ark was hidden on Mount Gerizim, which is located within the West Bank, halfway between Jerusalem and Nazareth. Additionally, ancient Jewish tradition speculates that the ark may have been hidden in a secret vault somewhere beneath the Temple Mount. Now, the reason I find this all very interesting is because if that ark is or was in Israel, well, I have questions. Okay, because like I said, does Trump have the real one or is this just a replica? And how do we know? Because remember, I did a video maybe about a month or so ago. You all need to go back and watch it if you missed it, where I told you how Trump was supposed to, he was prophesied to declare himself as the king of Israel. And then guess what? Trump literally declared himself the king of Israel. Now, I first mentioned this in 2020. And I showed you all the proof where it was reported, okay, by several publications that Trump said that he was the king of Israel. So if he's the king of Israel and they had the Ark of the Covenant, I'm just wondering, did they give it to Trump? Because that's the one in Mar-a-Lago in Trump's possession, allegedly. I'm just saying, I find it all very interesting. Okay? I find it all very interesting, but let's continue. Let's continue. Nestor G said, yes, you did tell us. Thank you, beloved. Trump wished that were true. Okay. Asad Ross said, it's a replica. The real ark is guarded. You don't know if it's guarded or not, beloved, because we don't even know where it's at. Now, it's supposed to be guarded. Let me tell you something. What we can't do is we can't vouch for anything that those who shouldn't be in power tell us. Okay, that's what we can't do. I'm telling you that right now. Now you can think it, we can all think it, but do we know it's actually true? We don't. Not like I said. I have questions. I have several questions. Now it could be a replica, and it more than likely is. But at the end of the day, how do we really know? It's all I'm saying. Okay, how do we really know? Because stranger things have been said to have happened. And we don't know what kind of backdoor deals Trump's been making. Okay, so please pay attention. All right? Please pay attention. Maybe that's why certain people are getting all this money. Honey, you can't vouch for what these people are doing. We can only say what they should be doing or what they show us or tell us they're doing. We don't know what they're really doing. And also something else I want you all to pay attention to. How many of you guys remember ones in the chat that I told you prior to the election, I told you that there's going to be another virus, okay? Possibly another pandemic. Do y'all remember me telling y'all that? And I said before Trump gets in office, likely before Trump gets in office. Do y'all remember me telling y'all that? Ones in the chat if you do. Okay, I see a whole lot of ones because you know what I find interesting? There's supposedly some sort of suspicious virus over in China. Y'all don't find that interesting? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Y'all need to listen to the Queen, honey, because I don't care what the government tells you, because the government has lied to us on multiple occasions. Okay. Now, I don't care what they tell us about where something is supposed to be or how something's supposed to be. These people lie. Why would you believe anything they say? I have several questions. Okay, I don't believe anything they tell me. I have to figure things out for myself and use my own gift of discernment and thank the Most High for that. Now, let's go to this clip of them talking about a cashless society.
China is pushing ahead into a cashless society. It's creating a new digital currency to replace paper money and coins. It will also give the Communist Party total knowledge of how the Chinese people are spending their money. And that opens the door for unprecedented government control. George Thomas has the story.
The Chinese were the first in the world to invent paper money back in the 7th century. Now, more than 1400 years later, China is again on the cusp of creating a new form of government currency that some say could pose a serious economic threat to America and the West.
China is about to launch one of the most revolutionary financial projects in the world.
They're not cryptocurrencies.
They're not so-called stable coins. In effect, they are the national physical currency of a country, just represented in a digital form.
Eric Bethel is the former U.S. executive director of the World Bank.
Bitcoin near record highs, crossing 23,000.
He says while the world fixates on private cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin,
the digital yuan isn't a payment system, it's actual money.
Beijing is busy building a digital version of its own currency, the yuan, also known as the renminbi, to control its citizens and eventually threaten the dominance of the U.S. dollar.
They've pretty much created all of the building blocks that will allow a central bank digital currency to flourish.
And Yahya Fanusi, a former economic and counterterrorism analyst in the CIA, says China's goal is to replace cash with a digital currency that's controlled by the communist government's central bank.
China has said for a while that it expects to pretty much be a cashless society in the future. So the idea is that cash notes, coins will no longer be around and that people will be using digital currency that's going to be in their wallets.
That digital currency will also be issued by the government bank, allowing what Congressman Michael McCall, the top Republican on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, says is unprecedented access to people's financial transactions.
This will give them data on behavior, on how they spend.
And giving Beijing the power to track that spending in real time.
There will be a point where the People's Bank of China is going to be able to peer inside of every single transaction that everyone does 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Which means if you are a human rights activist or a Christian, authorities can now use this new technology to punish you if you engage in activities they consider anti-government.
Okay, so you all heard that. You all heard that. And this is a government, and this is going on in China now. That's a couple of years ago. That report was from a couple of years ago. But with that all been said, about 3 years ago, actually. But with that all been said, isn't that what's happening right now as we speak? Okay? So are we really going to trust a government that invades our privacy, tracks us, has technology that spies on us, takes away our rights, liberties, and freedoms one step at a time, and then pressures us to do and take things that we don't even want to do or take? Okay, please pay attention, but let me go to Elon Musk speaking with Joe Rogan.
You know how people say life doesn't feel real ever since 2020? Yeah. Well, look, it's because it isn't. For the decades leading up to 2020, there was something going on that the general public never could have expected. Certain aspects of our technology weren't only just providing services for us, they were planning a dramatic shift of consciousness. Google Earth, for the last 25 years, has been creating a completely digitized, three-dimensional blueprint of the entire planet, a perfect database of 3D tracked images of what our external world looks like, while all of our devices that were inside the home, riddled with cameras, have been slowly building back-end digitized replicas of what our households look and feel like. Silently, this siphoned visual information was being harnessed to build a massive digitized replica of our world inside and out, a kind of complex virtual reality that perfectly mimics the real one. Our digital footprints were used to create hyper-realistic digital avatars in this world that look and feel just like us. This virtual reality was being...
And let us also not forget that Elon Musk is the same one who said that technology basically can, exterminate humanity. Basically saying that either you get with it or, it can just take over and just make us all extinct. Okay? Pensy Lola, thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Says Queen F against the wall with crazy glue. Okay, Mr. Elevation says the government has technology that makes us do nefarious things. Oh, yes, absolutely. Okay, and that's what I was trying to show you guys last night when I did that video, and I was talking about the Voice of God technology, which, like I told you, ScrewTube removed that part of the broadcast. Okay, so with that all been said, here's Elon again.
To the brain.
Yeah. Electrode to neuron interface at a micro level.
Okay, what is it? Like, I'm gonna have like a plug in my head that's gonna fit into a hard drive? Like, or how does that work?
Yeah. A chip and a bunch of tiny wires.
This would be implanted surgically. And it would do what? Could you input? Could you download Jim?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What?
The long-term aspiration for Neuralink would be to achieve a symbiosis with artificial intelligence, and to achieve a sort of democratization of intelligence, such that it is not monopolistically held in a purely digital form by governments and large corporations.
Basically, an effort for man to merge with machine in a healthy way.
Yes.
To beat.
Essentially, how do we ensure that the future constitutes the sum of the will of humanity? The sum of the will of humanity.
If you don't unite with AI, AI will take over the world. That AI has advanced too much, that there's no way of stopping it.
Now, he was simply repeating what Elon said, that if you don't unite, basically, that's what he was saying in a nutshell. If you don't unite with AI, it's going to take over the world. He literally said it could make humanity go extinct, if I'm not mistaken. Those were his words. So, and then he's talking about implanting consciousness and all that stuff. Listen, none of this stuff is of God. None of this stuff is natural. None of this stuff is in agreement with the Most High. So if it isn't in agreement with the Most High, and it isn't of God, then who is it of? Well, I think we all know the answer to that. Okay, I think we all know the answer to that. Okay? At the end of the day. And like I told you guys, that story that his nanny told, his former nanny told about him, was just all real crazy. And I believe every word. I don't think she made that up. I don't think she made it up at all. Okay, so let's talk about this before I go. Let's talk about this. Oh, and let me just read you the scripture. This is from the book of Revelation. I'm going to start at the 13th verse. No, I'm going to start at the 12th verse. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which would be wounded by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand and on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. I want you all to pay attention. This is all nefarious. And so getting back to what I said, the prediction that I made prior to the election, well, about a virus, a new virus coming, and a possible pandemic or plandemic. Well, virus outbreak in China sparks pandemic concerns. What to know about HMPV. So let's take a listen to this. I'm going to share my screen.
British Columbia, one in Louisiana, where it actually got...
CDC now reporting the bird flu virus is showing mutations in the first severe human case in the United States, potentially making the disease more contagious. The agency says currently there is no evidence anyone else caught the virus from the patient. Let's bring in Fox News senior medical analyst, Dr. Mark Siegel. Dr. Siegel, what do you make of this? We can actually show our viewers some of these numbers here. Now, confirmed total reported human cases in the United States. You can see it across the dairy herds, poultry farms, and then one other animal. Not a huge number there, but obviously troubling. What do you make of it?
Let me sort this out for you, Griffin. I've talked to top officials at CDC over the past week about this. There's two different types of bird flu out there. The one in the dairy cattle that you're seeing, 866 herds already, 660 in California. That's the type called B313. Fancy name, but what it means is when it actually infects humans, it's mild. The symptoms have been mild across the board in that particular subtype. Now, we have to monitor that because it's spreading a lot among the dairy cattle, and it's spreading through milk machines, through milking, and occasionally it gets to a farm worker. We have to figure out a way to control that. The second type is in the poultry, which we've seen for 2 decades now. And occasionally we've seen a mutation, D1.1 it's called, where you get a very severe illness, much more severe than you get with the dairy cattle, generally in the type in birds. But now they're seeing something where in the last 2 patients, one in British Columbia, one in Louisiana, where it actually got into upper airways fairly easily. That's what we are concerned about. But the good news is they know where the 2 got it from. The one in Louisiana got it from a backyard bird, and there's no sign of any spread whatsoever. Flu mutates very easily. There's 8 places on a flu molecule where it can mutate. Compared to COVID, by the way, much less so. So this is why all the surveillance. But we've never had a pandemic with a high number, H5N1. H5 is a type of the molecule where it attaches to human cells or animal cells. That's never gone human to human. So the CDC says the risk remains very low.
But Dr. Siegel, let's take a look at the map of where we're seeing cases across the country. In your insight is certainly reassuring, but as you look there, you can see some 17 states have some 893 various confirmed cases with bird flu in cattle herds and livestock. As you look at this map, Dr. Siegel, obviously that one patient in Louisiana, are there other areas that you're particularly looking at and possibly concerned with?
When you see that red state, which is actually a blue state, I'm much more concerned about California than anywhere, because you're making a great point here, Griff. Once it starts to spread, the chances of it getting that mutation, and we know what mutations it would need, by the way. There's a lot of argument about that. Do we need gain-of-function research? Answer, no, we don't. Because somebody did gain-of-function research on this molecule, somebody named Fouchier in Netherlands in 2012. We know exactly what to look out for here, and it's not there, but California worries me because of all the spread in cattle in California. That's absolutely unprecedented, and that's why we have a level of alert here, and we need to be vigilant.
And many of our viewers that reside in California work in agriculture jobs. Is there advice you have for them or on any other state where they're around livestock and cattle?
Obviously, they have to be very alert, and they have to be cleansing. I want to make one more other point. We can't be drinking raw milk. You have to have pasteurized milk because milk actually kills the bird flu virus. We need to figure out a way how to treat these cows so that we get rid of the infection before it spreads to humans or among the cows. We're working on that. There's different ideas going on, but that has to happen. Whether it's to vaccinate the herd, we got to control it within the herd. There's no question. Farm workers have to be careful about the amount of contact they have. Again, a lot of people with the milk machines are getting it.
And Dr. Siegel, does the CDC, in your opinion, need to be doing more? I know you're talking with them. What's your assessment on how they're handling it and what else they could do?
I think they're doing a pretty good job, but I would say that the connection between the USDA and the CDC on this has to be extremely tight, and that needs more work. They're definitely doing better in real-time information than they did during the pandemic, but the USDA is playing a big role here too. So the joint effort between USDA and CDC needs to be ramped up.
It's good to hear from you, because obviously there was certainly a loss of trust. Dr. Mark Siegel, thank you.
Okay, so that clearly sounds nefarious. Now, DSB brings up a good point, saying notice that they always have problems with beef and chicken, never pork. Did anybody think about that? Because I never even thought about that. But that is a very good point. Okay? Because we already know, well, some of us know, because some of y'all still eat pork. But at the end of the day, pork is clearly disgusting. And to think that somebody is still eating it in 2025 is just outlandish to me. But that's a very good point, that it's always the beef or the chicken that has the problem, but never the pork. Which further makes me think that's something nefarious now that you mention it. Okay, because people who want to try to be healthier and don't want to eat pork, well, they're likely eating beef and chicken. Okay, so now it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. And let's also not forget all of this listeria, okay, this listeria bacteria that was in the cabbage and all that stuff, right? Or not the cabbage, the lettuce, the romaine lettuce and all these healthy products. So I just find it all interesting. I don't think any of these things are by coincidence. Now, rising HMPV cases in China are what we would expect to see in winter, according to health officials. Now, this is a report from 2 days ago. As China experiences a rise in respiratory infections in this winter, one little known virus has gotten a lot of attention, and some people may worry whether the rise in cases could be felt more broadly around the world. Don't think just because it's in China that it won't get here, okay? Please pay attention. Now, goes on to say, hold on, these nefarious pop-ups. Okay, so the human metapneumovirus, also known as HMPV, can cause upper and lower respiratory disease in people of all ages. And data from the Chinese Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released last week shows that the country has seen more cases in recent weeks. But HMPV typically circulates in the Northern Hemisphere in the winter. And China CDC data shows that there have also been rises in a number of other common respiratory infections, including the seasonal flu and respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV. Now, China's reported levels of respiratory infections are within the normal range. It's what we would expect to see for the winter season, according to Margaret Harris, a spokesperson for the World Health Organization. To calm concerns, she added that hospital utilization in China is lower than at this time last year, and that there have been no emergency declarations or emergency responses launched in the country in connection with these respiratory infections. Regarding human metapneumovirus is a new virus, or it's not a new virus. She says it was first identified in 2001. Well, this is my first time hearing about it. How about y'all? Okay, it's been in the human population for a long time. It is a common virus that circulates in winter and spring. Now, in the United States, the CDC tracks cases of HMPV in the same way it tracks the spread of other respiratory viruses. It's estimated that about 10% to 12% of respiratory illnesses in children are caused by HMPV. Most people will get HMPV at some point before age 5, and then reinfections can occur throughout life. So the data shows that HMPV cases started to show up more frequently in November and have been rising since. But compared with other common viruses, the weekly percent of respiratory infections testing positive for HMPV has been low at 1.94% as of December 28th. And in comparison, flu was at 18.71% and stupid-19 at 7.10% that week. They say it's respiratory virus season for a reason. We've gotten very accustomed to thinking about those who have been really severe. So stupid-19, as well as flu and RSV, there are a host of other respiratory viruses out there that you can get sick with, according to Janet Hamilton, Executive Director of Council of State and Territorial Epidemiologists. She says when it comes to common respiratory infections like HMPV, many times you get better on your own, but not necessarily. Typically, infections are very mild, and we often think about it like the common cold. Many people don't necessarily know when they have a common cold, that it is caused by human metapneumovirus or metapneumovirus. but it's definitely one of the viruses that are often associated with the common cold. Well, I'm so glad they decided to tell us, because when have they ever said this before? Because I've clearly never heard it. So some of the symptoms commonly associated with HMPV infections include cough, fever, stuffy nose, and shortness of breath. Now that's very concerning, the shortness of breath, okay? When it's difficult to breathe, that's always something serious, in my opinion. Okay, and here's how they say that the virus spreads. It spreads from person to person in a similar way as some other respiratory viruses, through droplets from coughing or sneezing, and through touching, such as shaking hands or touching contaminated surfaces. Simple measures can prevent the spread, and these include, if you're sick, if you've got symptoms, stay at home. Also, if you're in crowded or poorly ventilated spaces, when you know that there's a virus currently circulating, think about wearing a mask. Improve ventilation where you can. And of course, cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue. Who's at risk? Well, some people are at increased risk of severe infections of HMPV. In some cases, like any of the common cold viruses, it can lead to more severe diseases in people who've got no immunity or have got very weak immune systems that are very young. That's newborn babies. That's why you don't go and visit a newborn baby and kiss it when you've got a cold. And the very elderly. Again, that's why you should not go and visit your over 90 great grandmother in a hospital when you've got a cold. And how is it treated? Is there a venom for it? Healthcare providers can test for HMPV, but there is no venom and there is no specific antiviral therapy to treat the infections. Resting at home and staying hydrated can help with symptoms, as well as some over-the-counter medications. Mild cases of HMPV usually last a few days to a week, and many people recover by themselves within 2 to 5 days. It will present in the same way as the flu or SARS-CoV-2, RSV. So the same advice applies for those affected. Rest, take on fluids, try not to spread it to others. And that's basically what it says. If you feel very unwell, go to GP, as it is a virus. Antibiotics won't have any effects. Okay, so you all heard that. That's your lifelines for today. Listen, I'm going to tell you all something. And I'm no medical doctor. Okay, I'm not giving you medical advice. Okay, I'm a doctor of public administration. But with that all been said, here are some things that I do in the winter or when there's something circulating around. Well, for one, I take a raw clove of garlic every day. Now, Dr. Nicholas Perricone, if you've never heard of him, he wrote a book over a decade ago. I don't remember exactly when, but I have his book. And in that book, he talks about treating the common cold that they say there's no cure for. He talks about treating that by eating raw garlic and onions. And I can tell you that that worked for me. Okay, that absolutely worked for me. I mean, I haven't had a cold in 15 years, and I'm not even joking. Okay, I'm not even joking. I have not had a cold, and I've never had the flu in my life. But I have not had a cold in 15 years since I read that in his book. You know, so like I'm telling you, in the winter months, I always take a raw clove of garlic once a day. Now you can chop it up and put it in a fresh salad, or you can just pop it in your mouth and chew it up however you want. I mean, it tastes nasty. What I do if I do it that way is I put peanut butter on a spoon and then I put it on the peanut butter to mask the taste. So with that all been said, also, you know, making you a garlic tea with turmeric and things like that. You should be taking in a lot of vitamin C and things of that nature, specifically if you have, you know, a weakened immune system, like if you have some type of medication you're on that causes you to have a compromised immune system, or some type of medical condition, you know, that causes you to do so, or if you're just elderly, or, you know, at the end of the day, these are some of the things that I would be doing. Okay, I'm just giving you guys suggestions. And like I said, I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not giving you medical advice. And before you take anything new to your system, I would suggest that you speak with your physician first. Okay, so with that all being said, listen, everybody needs to be stocking up on food, specifically non-perishable food items, water, and all of that. You know, they're talking about this winter blast, this polar freeze, and all these extreme cold temperatures in different places that I've been hearing about, snow and all of these things. It's a lot going on, okay? It is a lot going on. So everyone needs to be making sure that you have everything that I've been telling you about since 2020 for your lifelines, the non-perishable food items, plenty of water, okay, a generator if you can purchase one. The solar generators are only like $250, some of them. And then you should have flashlights, batteries, candles, all of those sorts of things, okay? First aid kits, you name it. Have someone that you can barter with for things that you don't have, and then you can give them things that they don't have, like neighbors, family, or friends, okay? Please pay attention, because it's getting real crazy out here. It's getting real crazy out here, and as far as I'm concerned, Elon Musk is the Antichrist until further notice. Okay, until further notice. I just think it's something very nefarious about him. I get some very wicked and nefarious energy from him, okay? And he said on more than one occasion, though he said it jokingly, he's literally said that he's an alien. He laughs it off and says it's a joke, but I want you to pay attention, because a lot of times, the upper echelon of people, right? A lot of times they say things as jokes or as sarcasm, but they're absolutely serious. I'm not saying that he is serious, but I have several questions, okay? I have several questions. And if he isn't an alien, I really think that he's been in communications with some extraterrestrials. Okay, I think that he has been in communications with some. Now, that may sound crazy to some of you, but I want you to think about this information he has on this technology and implanting things into people's brains. First of all, where did he get such a nefarious idea from? And also, if they can implant something into your brain, who's to say that thing won't eventually take over your brain and be directing you on what to do, say, and think? Okay, this is all crazy. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like and share. You can do that absolutely for free. Okay, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. And I will be live in the morning with your morning wake-up call. If you've missed any of the last broadcasts, please go back and check them out at your leisure. Okay, somebody's talking about the fog in the chat. So let me just remind you guys, if you haven't started following me on Rumble, you need to. I'll be posting something on Rumble tomorrow, I do believe. If not tomorrow, then definitely on Friday. But go and check out the video that I did about the fog. Okay, it's all nefarious at the end of the day. And, everybody needs to be putting on the whole armor of God at this point, because this is spiritual warfare we're going through, people. This is only the beginning. It's a whole lot of things that's to come. And I'm going to tell you all something else. I had a dream that someone tried to assassinate Vladimir Putin. I just want you all to pay attention. Remember, I told you that. Of course, I hope that doesn't come true. But I absolutely had a dream that someone tries to assassinate Vladimir Putin. And there's likely going to be another attempt on Trump as well. So with that all being said, Reggie said, I love garlic in any form. Okay, all right, because most people don't like it. Teresa says, yes, Queen, I make tea with garlic, ginger, and turmeric. All right, there you go. Absolutely. Okay. So with that all being said, Tyology says oregano and cilantro. Okay. So listen, you all do the best that you can do to take care of yourselves and your family. Okay. I literally just made my immune system drink. Okay, great, Wavy, though. Okay, so listen, I love you all to life. Follow your lifelines, all right, and do your due diligence. And if you have questions about anything I said, you can shoot me an email. But always, don't just take my word for things. You can do your own research, okay? I'm just trying to tell you all what's best for you. All right, so with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this night, and I will see you all in the morning. Until then, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther. shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got